Hello. Well, it's the end of term, isn't it? Okay, the new year. And because of that, I thought I'd do a sort of end of year rant, using up all the bits that well, a couple of bits anyway, that I'd seen that I hadn't found a home for previously. And the first one was some old pictures I saw of Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian. These ones are from, I don't know, about 2010, maybe a bit earlier. But you will notice that Cenk is significantly slimmer, isn't he, than he is now. And Anna is significantly chubbier, which led me to wonder, is Cenk eating Ana Kasparian? You know, bit by bit when she's not looking, little nibble here, little nibble there, she loses some weight, Cenk starts to blow up. It's just a thought. Right, now the other thing is, Sticks Hexenhammer, please, darling, put a shirt on. Oh, at least a vest, please. You know what? I actually, when I'm watching, because you do say good things, you do say things that are worth listening to, but sometimes I just can't bear to look at that sparsely behared chest of yours. And I take the window and I put it down so that all I can see is your head peeping out over the bottom of the screen, right at the bottom. It's like that cartoon for the Kilroy event. And so that's my other thing. And talking about the Kilroy event, I am quite horrified by what's happened to it. Look, I know why it happened. It happened because the people who were doing the event are individuals with their own minds. Now, if this were like an Antifa event, everyone would turn up anyway, because they'd be told what to do and they do it. And the sort of people who wanted to go to the Kilroy event, most of them are the sort of people who don't get told what to do. And that's why when they thought that Base Mama wasn't acting properly, they just stopped associating with her. Now, actually, in my opinion, from what I've seen, it looks like incompetence rather than malice. But it's a shame what happened. And I wish that somehow the people who are involved can deal with it. I know, for instance, let's go back to Sticks Hexenhammer, he is going to turn up, he said, irrespective of whether it's going to be an organised event or not, simply because he knows people were looking forward to meeting him. And good for you. And if everybody did that, then there would be a conference. So I hope that something comes out of this. But we should never lose heart. The sort of people who listen to Sargon and maybe me, and even Millennium Woes, with whom I have deep disagreements, or Thunderfoot, for instance, these are the sort of people we have our opinions, and our opinions aren't part of a package. So we're always going to have this problem of not acting like a bunch of robots. And we have to remember that is part of our characteristics. It's our strength and our weakness as well. And our weakness has shown up in that Kilroy event. And I'm really sorry about what happened. Now, let's just move on to that a little bit, because of Coach Red Pill, who's managed to make a bit of a name for himself. I became aware of him not too long ago, and I thought he looked interesting, and I watched some of his videos, and I even tried to contact him to discuss the Crown Tea business, because I just wanted to know what he was doing, actually. I'm glad I didn't succeed, though, because later on I saw more of him, and the more I saw, the more he reminded me of some actor playing the devil in one of those films where Satan comes to town and starts corrupting people. He's got exactly the same look. Maybe that's the look he's trying to project. And then there's a YouTuber I have to tell off. He's called Thomas Baden-Riess. You could probably find him on the internet from that. He did an end-of-year comedy set in which he made fun of various other YouTubers. Maybe I'll put a link down below. Although I shouldn't be encouraging people to watch him, because I didn't like some of the stuff he did. Among others, of well-deserved criticisms, he had to go at Thunderfoot. Now, I do have my differences with Thunderfoot, and I do think he can be a bit arrogant, in fact more than a bit arrogant. But then Thunderfoot puts himself out more. He doesn't just stick to one subject and hammer away at it. He discusses a whole broad range of things, and in doing so, there are bound to be more points at which any reasonable person will find incompatibilities. And that's reasonable. But Baden-Riess didn't make fun of Thunderfoot's opinions. No, he made fun of his parents. Specifically, he made fun of Thunderfoot's late father, and then made a series of sexual references to his mother. And you know what? I think that's despicable. It's almost as bad as doxing. It's nice to have a laugh, and to laugh at the expense of a fool is especially satisfying. But to laugh at the expense of someone who's had just about the most horrible life event happening to him that can happen to anyone, that's unspeakably vile. And as a group of people, of free thinkers, I do hope that some of you feel along with me that Baden-Riess went over a line there. It wasn't funny, and I'm sorry, AIU. It wasn't funny. I got to it through AIU, and I know there is much about AIU's humour that I really, really like, and there's no doubt that he's very much got his finger on the pulse. But not with that. That was just beyond everything. And then the last thing is a piece by Millennial Woes about Professor Michael Isaacson. And he had nailed... Now, I have real trouble with Millennial Woes, not only for his own opinions, but for the sort of audience he attracts, which, of course, for which he is not responsible. But he seems to attract a lot of people with deeply disturbing opinions, and which I found a little unpleasant, let's say. But, you know, he had to go at Professor Michael Isaacson. Well, he did two pieces, actually, about Professor Michael Isaacson, who is, I don't know whether he is a leading light in Antifa, or he's certainly involved in that sort of thing. And, my God, that man has a long neck. Not Millennial Woes, Isaacson. His head is so much out of proportion. It's weird. But anyway, Millennial Woes did a piece called The Ballad of Michael Isaacson, which is a really good analysis. But as seen in the example of a professor called George Ciccariello-Maher, that's an interesting mix of names, an assistant professor at Drexel University in Philadelphia, he wrote All I Want for Christmas is White Genocide, which is a similar sort of self-hating as Michael Isaacson. So Millennial Woes tried to, well, he didn't try to, he talked about his critique of Isaacson in terms of a Jew trying to reorganise society so that he's safe. But then this guy, I've lost the name. Oh yeah, Ciccariello-Maher. He said the same thing, and that's definitely an Italian name. So it's not confined to Jews. And I did find it a bit disappointing to see, not only in Millennial Woes, but also in the comments. Anyway, my theory about Isaacson is that his neck is too long and it's cutting off the blood supply to his brain, which may account for his utter stupidity and also his extremely peculiar private life. I'm not going to go into details. You'll have to look up that for yourselves. All right, well, those are some peeves and little comments on things that just didn't fit into anything else. I hope you all have a very good 2018. Happy New Year, everyone. And as you can see, my Kekistani friend, he's semi-conscious that Christmas holidays have been a bit too much for him. Oh, one thing I forgot. Just before Christmas, I was out shopping and I mentioned to a shopkeeper, I said, Merry Christmas, as we crossed each other's path. And he said to me, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. And in between that Merry Christmas and the Happy Holidays, there was a little embarrassed sort of vibration from him. And I didn't say anything to him, but I thought, you poor bugger, you're really worried about saying Merry Christmas to me because you're not sure whether I'd take that as an offence or not. You know, this is just too bad. This is too bad. Merry Christmas is fine to say to anyone at all. You can take from it what you want, but don't feel embarrassed to wish anybody Merry Christmas. What that means is, I hope you have a good time. Whatever the holiday season is, I hope you have a good time. And I want all of you listening here, anyone who's listening, to keep that in mind. Never be embarrassed about saying Merry Christmas to anyone. Please, please, I beg you. Okay, right, that's it. Probably that's me for 2017. See you all in 2018. Bye.